Ah! What are we doing? All right, questions it is. What do we got? My socks have to match. And I am so anal that if I'm wearing Nike shoes, my socks have to be Nike socks. There is no, I'm gonna wear one brand with another brand. That's not how it works. And I have passed that down to my daughter. Mismatched socks are cool. Like I admire people that could do it. For me, it's no, I'm staying. My little mustache socks.
That's so fun.
I'm staying here. I'm staying here. For Nikes right now, I can wear this brand. This is not an athletic brand of socks. So I can, like, if I'm not wearing athletic brand, they can mismatch.
Oh, okay.
But if it's
Nike shoes right now.
yeah, but this is, if it was athletic socks with what I perceive as Nike as an athletic company, like a brand, then it has to match. If I'm wearing Under Armour shoes, I have to have Under Armour socks. If I'm wearing, like, that's the way I, but if I'm wearing Under Armour shoes and I wanted a pair of socks that aren't athletic brand, I'm fine, it doesn't matter, I can mismatch. Yes, although my acid reflux does not. I've developed that now in the last couple of years where I was like, why do I feel something in my, here? And the doctor's like, you gotta take a pill before you have spices. I was like, what? I'm Latino, we don't take pills before spices. That's not what we do. So now I have to be very careful about spicy food. But I love spicy food. Italian.
Oh, favorite dish?
Pizza.
Oh.
Pizza. It's nostalgic for me though. My mom used to work in an Italian restaurant when I was a kid. And I was like 3, 4 years old, and she would take me to work with her. And they had a banquet room, and I would just, if there was no event happening, I would just run around in the banquet room while she was working, that she was a cook. And so she would always make a pizza for me just so I can like have something to eat while she was at the restaurant. So I just fell in love with Italian food ever since I was a kid. So pizza for me is like, one, I love it. Can't go wrong with pizza. But then two, it takes me back to a period when I was like, I felt like life is good. Yes, but there haven't been any like really good horror movies. I feel like easily in the last 20 years there's not good horror movies.
Really?
Yeah. Or maybe I'm just older and I'm like immune to them. I'm like, this shit's not real. I get it. But when I was a kid, you know what used to trip me out? It's not even a horror film. What used to spook me, because I used to be left at home alone a lot, is I used to watch Unsolved Mysteries. And that music, the intro music, have you heard, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
True story. I remember specifically being 9 years old, living in Arkansas. My mom worked a graveyard shift, and I loved Unsolved Mysteries. And I was watching the show, and my mom left for work at like 9:30, 40 at night. And so it was like 10-ish, and I'm like, I'm gonna stay up and watch this show. And I'm watching it, and the intro music was freaked me out. I kid you not, and we lived like in this duplex. So I was like, the neighbors know my mom's gone. They know it.
I could be the next Unsolved Mystery.
And I wanted to watch it, but I didn't want to the music scared me so much that I was like, I gotta turn this off, but I can't because I want to watch it. So what I did is I would hide. I would literally lay under the coffee table. 9 years old, home alone, at 10 p.m., watching Unsolved Mysteries, and when that music played, I was under the coffee table. When it was done, I would then sit there like a normal person and watch the show. Home Alone scared me.
Home Alone is scary. It's bad guys breaking into a house. That's
Yeah,
terrifying.
because I was home alone a lot.
Yeah.
My mom would leave me and go to the casino all night, and I'd be home alone, with video games and a pizza. And I'm like, I'm gonna get kidnapped. Well, let me tell you a video game story. I used to play video games a lot as a kid. So I sit there and I broke my arm goofing off, but I still wanted to play video games. So what I would do is I'd take the controller, put it on my knee, and I had a sore on my tongue from playing video games because I couldn't stop. Like 8 weeks, my arm is in a cast. It was actually this arm. So I can do the directional and I just had to hit the buttons. Dan.
You're already
Dan
team.
Vargas for sure. Homeboy is like knowledgeable about random stuff. He could do Naked and Afraid. He just wouldn't do naked.
That's half of the point of it.
Yeah, he wouldn't
So
do the
you just
naked
do
part.
Afraid.
But he would, or Alone. What's that show, Alone? They essentially, you pick one thing that you can take and they drop you in different places. And you have to like, and whoever is the last one, is like last one, but they put you like in northern part of Canada where it's like super cold and negative whatever.
What?
And they're, yeah.
That's insane.
You never seen it? Oh man, yeah, he could do that show. So Dan for sure. Maybe I call, I need humor. I need someone to be like, you know what? Like, you know what? We can walk, but we'll laugh. We'll tell stories. I need distraction. So Dave Chappelle comes with me. We laugh. We tell stories. We make up stupid things. And then who's a third person that I bring with me?
Like a medic or something. Like
Maybe Brad Pitt, because he did World War Z. He was in, so he knows what to do.
So like Brad Pitt's character from.
No, it was Brad Pitt.
Oh.
It was Brad Pitt. There was no character. It was him. Those were intense zombies. Like those zombies, I don't want to f with. Walking Dead zombies, I can rock with those. Like I can like, okay, you know, you can kind of do a little fast walk and get away from most of them, right? Like World War Z are like. So I wouldn't say that I didn't want to write a book. I didn't think that I could write a book, first of all. That was my own insecurity, thinking that I couldn't do it. But then two, I guess ultimately what won out was I kept hearing from people that would say, you should write a book. And another reason is people became fixated on my injury and what happened in the military. And I would always think to myself, there's so much life that happened before that incident that you guys aren't even aware of. And half the time when we're talking, I don't have enough time to share all that with you. So for me, it was like, well, in a book, I can connect dots for people and allow people to understand how all this incident that I experienced as a child and this all connects and leads up to this big catastrophic thing that you want to focus on. And then there's also other details since that day. So for me, it was just like, wait, I think one, people are asking me to do it because they want to know more about my life. And two, I felt compelled enough to want to share more details of my life, be more vulnerable about all sorts of trauma and things that I've experienced outside of the 5th of April of 2003. And I mean, what can I say? I mean, I was blessed enough that enough people found it worth a read, worth a buy, that, you know, it did well. But it was definitely one of those things when I got the call from my literary agent and he was like, congratulations, you are a New York Times bestseller. I was on a plane. I was waiting to take off and I was like, what? And I was like, you mean like I'm on track to become? He's like, no, you are. You already made, and I was like, I couldn't comprehend that because I was looking at everything that I was doing at that point was from a micro point of view. It was literally like my conversation with you. I'm not thinking about I just left 1,500 people or whatever. I was like so I just couldn't comprehend that many people outside of what I physically share space with bought my book that was my story. And then I called my best friend Dan and I was like, dude, I'm a New York Times bestseller. And I started choking up and I was like, it's just, I don't know, it was just wild. And it still is wild, even when people come up to me now and they're like, can you sign this? I bought this, whatever, can you sign it? I'm like, my story's not supposed to have that type of effect. It is the power of being vulnerable. And I had to show a lot of darkness, a lot of difficult things that didn't make a lot of people happy, including my mother, when I talked about the relationships that she was in when I was a kid and how that affected me. She was not happy about that because she was worried about how that would reflect on her. And I understand that, but I was like, but it also is my truth. It also is my experience. And whether you like to believe it or not, it did affect me in some way, shape, or form. So she wasn't happy about it, but a lot of other people found something in that, connected with that on some level. So there's like a couple things that I want to do. So one, my book writing process was so quick. I had to turn it around in a short amount of time. There's so much more that at that time in my life, even from a speaking standpoint, I was surface. I wasn't really vulnerable and sharing a lot of depth. And so now at this stage of life that I'm in, there is a thought of writing another book that gives more detail and is more honest about stages of my life. So that's the thought process, because I think I was hiding behind, to some degree, it was safe emotionally, to I'm the wounded dad, and I'm the soldier, and like all that, the story in that sense. And now I'm like, okay, there's other things that I think I really want to touch on for people to, and I think people will embrace that and see that. Now, that's one idea. The other idea is I want to write a book where I just talk about different experiences, interactions that I've had with people, and how people have affected me. And they're people that I probably spoke to only one time, but they've said something. They were strangers. They weren't even people that I would consider like friends or even acquaintances. They're just people that I came in passing, and they've shared something with me, and I've taken something away from those conversations that it still lives with me till this day. And I'm thinking how cool it'd be to still be able to almost like pay respect. And the whole purpose of that is to hopefully encourage people to be open to different individuals and humans when you come across them at a coffee shop, at work, passing them on the street, working out next to it. Like, you just never know who's next to you that can give you what you need. But we close ourselves off so much. So, what is one thing I would want someone to feel after meeting me? I guess hope. It's weird because it's like I want people to feel like, I want people to laugh. Like, I love to laugh. It helps me in so many areas of my life, but I think ultimately, there's a lot of people that walk around feeling hopeless, and they aren't able to see or understand that there is a possibility where their life could turn a corner or whatever. And I just I think if people could walk away from an interaction, a conversation, and say, you know what, I feel a little bit more hopeful today. I think there's a possibility for me to do X, Y, Z. I think my life will shake out. I think this will work out. I think, okay, this is what I need to do in order for this to happen. I think I think hope is it. I mean, I don't know, just Okay, that's it?
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, good questions. If you have any questions, submit them. Ask. I'm here to answer. Bye.